So I came 7th at a regionals. Off the back of Ben's deck profile. I just thought I'd do my own because it'll be funny. We got ourselves the serialized Omni. We didn't show Ben's in the thing, but mine's 87. His is 86. He's just better like that. And now we're using the Arts and Crafts beautiful deck box, and I'm gonna show you the Magna X list that I ran to 7th. That I was very surprised that I even fucking played, because the day of the tournament, I had felt no love for any of the decks for God knows what reason. I was very distraught about what I was going to play, and I decided I'm going to make a nice little tournament bracket of 4 decks: Magna, D-Brigade, Tyrant, and Yellow Rapid Vaccine. And I just flipped a coin 50 times for each and landed on Magna being the winner, and I just played Magna. This deck is absolutely fucking bonkers. If your opponent has any sort of setup deck, it just goes first and kills them, and they can't catch up sometimes, and then most decks just don't have the out to a deck that is unaffected by effects and, you know, has 20k DP. It's pretty bonkers, and, you know, I don't think there's anything special about this list. Literally ripped from DigiPanda with a couple of minor changes that I just thought were better. So shoutouts to DigiPanda for my list. If you want to just go watch his video, he probably explains all the reasons for most of the cards. But there's a couple of minor changes in my list that, you know, took me to top 7. Some of the cards that I added that he didn't have and took out that he did just were phenomenally better at the time. So let's get into it. Yippee! Alright, for the Demi-V, I was running a 5th card, the other older 8 cards, 1k DP Demi-V, but just going back to 4 because it's, you know, you never really need the 5th for the most part. And then we just went like 4 of the best VMon in the game at the moment. If you can't get your hands on this, I'm sorry, because this is an insane card. You literally just reduce the cost of a Digivolution by 1, making your Magnas for the most part 2, like they kind of should be. But they have enough effects that they deserve to be a 3 cost. The when attacking draw, because it's not a once per turn, you just get to tear through your deck very quickly. Awesome.
If you didn't have it, just run as many as you got from your pre-release.
Yeah, literally. And I'm so glad that they reprinted this card. I would have been absolutely livid if they just left it in as a promo. It's just fucking annoying. But sick that we got another reprint technically. And then yeah. The next VMon, on play, reveal a top 3, grab a free trait and a Davis. This is the best searcher we have at the moment. It doesn't really matter about the end of your turn. You just get to search 3 cards, get a Davis and a free card, which is almost every card in your deck. Not much more to say about that. 4 on the VMon for this one. He is just nice. Sometimes when you can play him off the Davis and you know that you're about to, like, you know, next turn raise something like these 2 up and Digivolve, gain a memory, make your Magnas 1 cost off of this guy. Or if, you know, you go into something else or play another Digimon, you just get a free 1 memory. It's great. This, I didn't realize at the time because I, again, wasn't heavily practiced. But Ben pointed out to me as I got my ass eaten by one of the Nume players that he minused my thing down 14k. My Magna X, and then, you know, this one, your turn, this Digimon gets plus 2k DP, and I still just, you know, pulled the stack away, put it in the trash, because I didn't realize it would go my turn, and he'd have 1k DP, so it was the only time it came up, but it was worth it enough to know that he spent a lot of time and effort trying to kill my Magna X, and I could have just said, nah. This is the first change from DigiPanda's list. It was literally on play, reveals the top 4 cards, add a 1 2-color blue card among them to your hand, place the remaining cards. Again, this whole thing was like super last minute, so this should have stayed as the starter deck free VMon, because that searches every card in your deck pretty much. This card doesn't search Magna X, as I was halfway through the tournament remembering. Awesome. I guess you don't need to ask any questions about this, eh? It's
That wasn't really basic.
It's all stupid as shit.
I like that you mentioned the DP on the eggs and that.
Yeah, it's funny because it's like I didn't realize at the time, and then you were like, your thing should have stayed alive after the game ended,
Yeah,
and like I won that game at least. And but if I had have lost that game, I would have been mad about it. 4 of this Magnamon. This is by far and above the craziest Magnamon in the game at the moment. It basically says to like Rapid X and most of the matchups in the game. Like if your opponent plays out a blocker or something like that, it just goes walk out, Digivolve for 2, strip and bounce, awesome, nice blocker. Anyway, this is a crazy card. I had it happen one time in the entire tournament that I got to security Digivolve and then Digivolve over something of mine, which didn't. Like, it mattered enough at the time. It was actually huge at the time because it was, again, against the Nume matchup where I Digivolved one of his Nume X's and then bounced another one of his bodies on field, so he only had, like, one check after that would. It was nice that it happened once. The negative bias in me says that should have happened more often. And then 3 of this Magna with the, if it dies, you just play out another Vmon and draw 1. I could probably have gone to 2 on this one because, like, in theory, you want to be like, oh, I'm going to land on this, swing, and if it dies, you get all those cool effects. Or if you stay on it as a blocker and end your turn, your opponent has a rough time outing it. But most of the stuff in the format at the moment just decimates this card and then goes, cool, that little Vmon is going to die anyway as well. So go back to 2 if you want to. That's what Digipanda's list has. 4 of this guy. This guy clears games. You get to... you go Magna X does like a bunch of checks, and then you swing with this for your last check, and if this dies, you're like, awesome! Anyway, swinging for game when it unsuspends. There's not much to say about that. Pseudo Ace.
It's a good card.
It's a fucking crazy card. The worst games I had, I was still just playing this and doing exactly what this guy does, where you just strip and bounce things that are on the field.
Nothing to do, just play a pseudo ace.
Literally, just fucking, yeah. And if your opponent eats it on having, like, if you ace them, it's cool too, but, pretending like you have it is funny too. 4 of the Magna X, best card in the deck, obviously. This card is just fucked. When you... What do I even say about this card, man? Everybody knows what it does. Everybody knows what it do. It just... Like, the reason that this card is probably the most broken is people think that, like, oh, it's unaffected by effects and it gains shitloads of DP. Like, that's crazy, but the most insane part about this deck and this list, I'll just put this card down now, is, like, this is one of the other cards I changed from Digipanda's list, is, like, you turn 1, you can just go, or sorry, turn 1, turn 2, you can just walk out and go, this card, strip and bounce, swing with this for an extra 2k, it's 10k with the egg. This lives, that's crazy. Awakening Digivolve into this for 3, and then we go for another check, like another 2 checks, and you've done 3 checks on turn 2, and your opponent is sitting there with, 3 more hits left before they die, and they can't out the body anyway. So it's just this insane card that, you can't interact with and just clears the board insanely fast. I don't know why people wouldn't run Awakening. It's just a 3 cost to get into your Magna X instead of having to worry about, like, oh man, I'll go Zudomon Ace and then I'll Digivolve into it for 4. Or worse yet, you Digivolve for 5 every one of these Magnas. Like, you want it to be as cheap as possible to get into this so that you can just go crazy on your opponent. I think I never once used the security effect for Awakening. When it hit insecurity, I think by the time it did it in security, I would have just been dead already. So, crazy cards. Insane ones.
Because one of the matchups, I did have to kill the guy's Magnamon that he Digivolved into with that. And the judge was, yeah. Is that the one that had its DP reduced? No. Sadly not.
True. Yeah, so I mean, I guess another, like, interesting point I make is, like, sure, this says this, like, DP can't be reduced by your opponent's effects until the end of your opponent's turn, but, like, specifically for Nume X, it literally does not matter, because they're just, until the end of their turn, this wakes up and then it pops and turns to dust because they've given it 14k, and then it reduces down to 0, this effect ends, and it just turns to dust. Definitely.
Still just sitting there.
Yeah, it's just sitting there.
You ever played League against Zed? Yeah, it's like that. You killed the Zed, guess what? You're still dead.
Yeah, it's funny too, because, like, I didn't think Nume would be that much of a difficult matchup for this deck as well. I thought I could outpace it and just go crazy on them. But Nume was by far and above the, like, most difficult, because, like, you can bounce them as many times as you want, but they just just shit out a bunch of bodies on field.
Play Monty.
And play Monze.
You bounce Monty, play Monty.
Yeah, and then like being able to them having the ability to clear this is just so good. 3 of the Davis came up hella often. Like turn 1, you're like, oh, this in raising, this one plays out this guy. When you walk out with this guy, you just Digivolve, gaining so much like value off of that. Shu, I kind of really wish I could have gotten into more often, because if I could have gone like the turns where I went turn 1, Digivolve into this, and turn 1, go Shu as well, and not have to worry about giving my opponent too much memory was like phenomenal. Because the moment you Davis play something out, or you have 3 memory and you're on Magna X and you just hard play a rookie and just go swing 2 checks, unsuspend, swing 2 checks, it puts so much more pressure on your opponent.
Did you ever consider cutting that for the 4-cost Davis instead?
No.
Just so it was searchable with your Digimon?
Not at all. I think this deck does like so much in terms of like searching already. Like we run I guess that's a good little segue into 4 of the trainings. What a surprise. We run so much search that the point of this deck, like moving as fast as it does on turn 1 and 2, it's kind of useless to spend 4 for a search, and you're only doing like big searches like that with the rookies at that point towards the middle of the game anyway, if you're really out of tempo or playing like a grind game, which is rare. This deck doesn't allow for grind games sometimes. Yeah, so I mean this is cool too, like because the reboot is crazy, because you can still do those 2 checks and unsuspend and then just reboot it, so you do get that that blocker. Block 1, they hit a check, block again, instead of they hit a check, they stands up, and then they decide not to block or not to swing. It's cool. 2 of the blinding rays. I wish I could see this more often. A lot of the time, because there were matchups where everybody's teching against Magna X for a reason. The card is crazy, and you would just be staring at your opponent with a board like Dragon Mode or something like that. And Dragon Mode and all that is a horrible matchup for the Imperial deck. But Blinding Ray would have made that a lot easier to just go, I don't really care if I hit security the first time, I just need to, make this unaffected for another turn. And then at least stall out. This is just an amazing little card. I love this. 2 of the Heaven's Judgment. I would love to see this card get banned. It's literally like, oh, cool, I have, one Vmon out on field and it does 18k, or, you have this guy and Magna X, or rather these 2 and Magna X, and you're doing, I think it's like close to 32, because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 checks, right? It's 32.
Yeah. Just
disgusting card. It would deserve a ban if it got it. Sometimes it saved me in security, but it is a card that needs a little bit of setup too, so you're not always using it. This deck in particular utilizes it really well, I suppose. 1 blue memory boost, literally a flex spot. I didn't know whether I wanted a 3rd of Awakening or something else. I just decided 1 more search is nice. And then final Zubagon was, I really wanted to get this off in the tournament, but I never once got to play it. It's basically, you just give the brother sec +1, do 2 checks, unsuspend, do 2 checks. Maybe you do a 3rd with her and clear for game. And then it reboots and blockers, but that's fine. I just never got to use it because I never would have, for whatever reason, every time I was on this, never saw this. And when I had this, I was never on this. It's a funny card, but it's alright. It's okay. It would have been cool to be able to have used it once or twice, but I didn't get to use it at all. And that's literally the list, right? This is just a crazy, consistent, very, very simple deck that just says, hey, I'm going to go crazy on your security, and if you don't let me, I'm going to make sure you let me. So my first matchup was Belfi. I felt really bad because Belfi is literally like a deck that just, takes a little bit to get started, and I just, again, just walked through him, I suppose. You do 5 checks and go crazy on them, and then they at best play a blocker down, and then you bounce it with the Magna, the new one, this starter deck Magna. The second game was Rapid Gargo, the green and with Rapid as well, and it was really good. I think I versed Nathan for that one, and I was having a really hard time because as much as you want to just go crazy on them and do a shitload of checks, you're basically walking into the Mega Gargo as well as walking into Rapid X's Suspends. So again, the Magna from the starter deck clears because they have 2 colors on almost everything, so you just trash the sources, bounce them, and then you start getting to swinging. So it's a bit of a difficult one, but as soon as you get them down to like 0 security, you can not have to worry about what's on board. You just swing, and if they ace against your Magna X, they have to walk into it with the Mega Gargo, give you 4 memory. It is, it was really rough that you just put them in that position where they have to fight you for that and just give you 4 memory or die. Next game was Imperial. That was by far and above the hardest game and the only one that I lost for the day. Basically, Imperial walks out and makes a board of dudes that say don't unsuspend, does a couple of checks, and then lands on Dragon Mode, and Dragon Mode says you can't use all these resources with the trainings that you've built up. You can't use Davis. Horrible. Horrible, because as soon as you get into Magna X and he's not, or the turn that he's not unaffected, they will just bottom deck it. So very, very difficult matchup, and the fella I was playing against played really well on that one. So only game I lost, suppose. Red Hybrid was the next match. Red Hybrid was fucking hilarious because we literally just raced each other to the bottom. Yeah, like it was. I enjoyed that game probably the most because we were done in 10 to 15 minutes, and we just went, okay, I'm gonna walk out. I'm gonna do 3 checks to you, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna walk out and I'm gonna try to do 3 checks to you, and you're like, Rapid says no, or Magna says no. So that shit was funny. I really enjoyed that one.
Fun back and forth there.
Yeah. And then I versed Numamon, which was a draw. Because we basically took a long time just, fighting for the board every single turn, fighting for the board constantly, and then, yeah, just ended in a draw. Incredibly difficult game, and I think if we hadn't have gone to time, he probably would have won that game. That is just the fact of the matter. I think the deck just has a really good out to Magna, but yeah, and way more checks than Magna can do once it hits the board. And then last game was Yellow Rapid Vax. What do I say about Yellow Rapid Vax? Yellow Rapid Vax was kind of the same thing again. You strip and bounce things, and then you go crazy on them and hope that they have less choices to make for their Patamon. The games where they went and got to put as many Rapidmons as they wanted into the security, I was fucked because I could never check enough down to 0 for their Patamon to never walk out and hit nothing. And the games that I won were just extremely one-sided. They weren't really one-sided. It was still like fighting for board and then fighting to just kill your opponent. So there's nothing super like intricate about any of these matchups. It's just, Magna X just goes fucking crazy on your opponent, and
it's just a dumb card.
It's just a dumb card, and it's by far and above not my favorite deck to play by any means, but I played it because I didn't know what I wanted to play, and I came 7th. So that was nice.
Yeah, deck works.
It would have been nice to have played something like Tyrant or something and came 7th, but it's cool to have the serialized Omni and have that top 8 moment.
Very nicely done.
Thank you. That's pretty much it. That's the whole list. That's all the matchups, and hope you enjoyed watching the little shout outs that I want to do at the end of the video that I don't like to watch, but I want to do it because I love my friends. Ben, I'm so fucking proud of you for coming first. You have no idea. It's crazy.
Thank you.
And I am very happy with Caleb for play testing with me heaps and heaps. We got to play shitloads of decks. Unfortunately, I landed on none of them. And I kept
all the rulings into your head.
Yeah, exactly. I just made sure that I made sure that I knew what I was playing and how to play it, I suppose. Yeah, at its base level, and then played a deck that just doesn't really care about all those intricate rulings and interesting things and just says, I'm gonna hit you, and if you kill me, fuck it, I lost. Yeah, so, and shout out to the rest of the Digi Gang, everybody I love so much, and I'm always happy to have all of my friends dog on me for making a YouTube channel. It's fun, and yeah, so I love all my friends, and I'm happy to have done well at a regionals for the first time, finally, and not bink it. I got the whole way without making a stupid warning mistake, and I said, you know what, actually I'm going to do it to myself. Judge, get over here. I need to get the warning out of the way. So that was funny, because a lot of the time I play these events and I make one really minor stupid mistake that ends with a very large, like a match loss sometimes. So yeah, I might even cut this a little bit, but it's funny, I suppose.
He's made no mistakes this time. He's doing well.
Yeah, I know. No, I'm doing too well. I gotta fucking call the judge on myself at this point. I'm just glad that a lot of our locals took the top few spots. That's really cool to see. My friends hit the top few. I'm really proud of everybody for getting as far as we all did. And thank you for watching. And I'll see you with some should you plays. I'm gonna be playing some fucking D-Brigade soon. I cannot wait to play this deck. If not, I'm gonna do birds. And I hope you see those soon. Bye.